Spring Bay Council website to the YouTube platform, where the public can view the meeting live and watch recordings of previous council meetings. In accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and Regulation 33, these video-audio files will be retained by Council for at least 6 months and made available for viewing live, as well as online, within 5 days of the scheduled meeting. The written minutes of a meeting, once confirmed, prevail over the video-audio recording of the meeting. Welcome councillors, staff and members of the public. I declare the annual general meeting of the Glamorgan Spring Bay Council open on this day, the 11th of December 2018 at 7 p.m. All councillors are present. There's no apologies. In attendance, we have Acting General Manager Mr Wells and Council's Executive Officer Ms Turvey. .1 Mayor's Report. Could I have a recommendation, please?
So, sorry, if I may go back, Mayor Wisby, no discussion of the annual report.
Oh, sorry. Well, that is under... This is it.
Oh, that is it.
Yeah.
Right, okay, thank you for clarification. Yes, I'll move that the Mayor's report be accepted.
Somebody to second that motion? Councillor Arnold? Yes. Okay, in discussion? Okay, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimous. 4.2, a motion please.
I'll move that the General Manager's report be accepted.
And somebody to second that motion.
I can do that.
Any discussion? All those in favour? I don't love it. Okay, so, sorry, all those in favour again? Councillor Simons, Councillor Simons, Councillor Arnold and Deputy Mayor Woods. And against, Councillor Churchill, Browning and Wisby. That motion is lost. So is there an amendment to that motion that is being proposed in respect to?
There are issues. Oh, sorry.
So we've got just a problem here in timing, Councillor Breedy, because you could put another motion in respect to this matter if you have another motion, and that needs to be seconded, and then it can be open for discussion.
I'd like to put another motion, but I can't think of the correct word. I want to, whether the word accepted indicates that we accept the report as it is, or whether there's a way of indicating that we note that it has been filed and we accept that it has been filed, but we don't necessarily accept the report per se. I need to know what that word might be, and I don't know whether there's somebody here, councillors, who can help me.
Received.
Received, yeah.
To receive.
Mayor, could I just clarify something here? By council refusing the acceptance of the General Manager's report, effectively, in my view, it would mean that the General Manager's report has to be removed from the annual report.
That's not my understanding. The report is the report, and I did speak with the director on this matter. So basically, we could go through this meeting and say we don't accept it, but it is what it is. Okay, so it's the report's printed. We have to. This is the report. It is the report.
Right.
So you could use the recommendation here. You could say that the General Manager's report be received or accepted or whatever word you wish to use. You're basically tabling it, and it is what it is. You can use whatever word you wish to use in respect of that. If we voted no to the whole document, to Council's report, it wouldn't make any difference to,
It's still a report.
It's still a report. It is a report that's been filed. It's been sent to the local government division. It's been accepted.
Well, if you don't, if I may,
Yes.
if you don't endorse the report, if you don't accept the General Manager's report, then you're not really endorsing the whole report. And if you're not endorsing the report, then surely the report doesn't exist.
Apparently it does.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the advice I got. And I know that is really strange. I totally agree.
Yeah.
This is strange.
Okay.
So, Councillor Brennan?
Yeah, I'd like to make the recommendation that the General Manager's report be received. Thank you.
Received. Second that, Councillor Churchill. So we're going to open this for discussion, okay, and you can speak of why you prefer that word.
I'd like to refrain at this stage from commenting until others have made their comments regarding the report. Thank you.
Sure. So it is only the General Manager's report we're referring to, only the report by the General Manager. I'll make comment. The reason that I don't like, what I don't like about this report is there's a line in there saying, I would like to thank Mayor Michael Kent and the majority of the councillors for their support. I don't like that word, and therefore I don't think it fits with the objectives that's stipulated within this document, and I don't have them highlighted here, but it's about showing respect and so forth. So as elected members, elected by ratepayers and residents, I don't particularly like that line. So that's why I'll receive it, but I don't like the word accepted, because I don't accept those words. That's my reason.
I'm happy to support those comments. I think that's fair and reasonable.
Anyone else for comment? Councillor Branny?
That was the reason why I wanted to withhold, because I'd prefer for somebody who is fully aware of the situation in relation to the General Manager's reference to some councillors rather than the councillors. Seems to be disingenuous, and if I was to be a victim of that, I'd be very disappointed, and I would definitely ask that the General Manager treat us with better respect. Thank you.
Okay, so just clarifying, it's that the General Manager's report be received. So, no further comment? I'll put that motion. All in favour? Councillor Churchill, Branny, Wisby and Browning against? Councillor Simons, Arnold and Deputy Mayor Woods. So carried. 4.3 annual report. Could I have a recommendation, please? Councillor Churchill.
I would recommend that the contents of the annual report, Part A and Part B for 2017-2018 be received.
Okay, somebody to second that motion. Councillor Breeny. Open for discussion.
I don't have any particular discussion, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to draw councillors' attention to page 16 of the report. Under local roads and footpaths, the figure is actually 1.9 million, not 1.2 million at the top of the page.
Yep, sure.
Page 16.
Page 16, yes. And on page 26, the Code of Conduct legislation is the Local Government Act 28R, the Model Code of Conduct of Order 2016, not 28E. So there's just two incorrect references there.
Okay, so Councillor Churchill and Councillor Breeny, are you happy with the changes to those errors?
It's not actually amendments, Madam Mayor, it's actually just corrections to incorrect.
But it's
Yeah.
their motion, so
Yeah.
they'd have to accept
Yes,
them.
absolutely.
Yeah. One on page 16, I'd already picked that up before the
Okay,
1.9 million. It was clear and evident.
So you're happy with, as it's, and
That's
Councillor
fine.
Breeny? Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, comment, discussion.
Well, I'll speak to the motion. It's actually consistent now with 4.2, the General Manager's report. I think there are a few things that's just been pointed out in the annual report that I don't necessarily agree with, and I just think that there needs to be more clarification, explanation, and perhaps some changes made, as we've already alluded to, before that could be should be accepted. And in particular, that one statement in the General Manager's report I found particularly offensive, and on behalf of those councillors that it alluded to, I just would like to offer that as part of my support for them. Past councillors have been being referred to like that. I don't want to be referred to like that when I'm a councillor, and I'd hate to think that similar wording was going to be seen in next year's annual report. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Churchill. I support that word. The reason being is I think the council, and this is the responsibility of the council, we need to set up a set of, this has been accepted, and those words have been basically accepted for 4 years. So if we want to make change, it's up to us as a council to make change, and we can set a standard of how this report is presented. You know, it is council's report. And we can request that you know, appropriate words are used and respect is shown in accordance with, I think it's our objectives of this council, our endorsed objectives. So going forward, I think we can certainly make some improvements, and as we're looking at all documents, whether it be the agenda or this, and we may look at some cost-saving measures or how things are reported, as long as they tick the legislation box. You know, this is something else I think we can look at as a council. But personally, I'm more comfortable with the word received at this point rather than endorsed. That's how I feel. Councillor Arnold.
Madam Mayor, I think it's worthy of note though that respect is a two-way street.
Correct.
And there wasn't always respect shown in the previous council towards the General Manager, so it is a two-way street.
Do you want to open up on that one? Do you want to? Would you like to say any more?
No,
Because
not at all. No.
because I can flick open the book here, but basically we have to show respect for each other, and the point here is that to pick out some council laws and not others, and is not nice, and that's the point. So, you know, that's just the point. It's a public document. It reflects on our council, and it reflects on, I wonder who that person is or people are. That's the problem there. Councillor Braney, did you wish to?
Yeah, on that point, respect being a two-way street, there's an ability for councillors sitting at this table, and I'm one of them, who can be disrespectful, but I'm sure that that will be very quickly picked up in a situation where there's proper management of meetings. It's a little difficult the other way, especially when, from experience, personal experience, at this table or in this place, I've been subject to less than respect. And I thought that I was giving respect and always have, but there seems to be a misconception that just because there are questions asked and because there are issues raised, that it's disrespectful. It's not that, and I don't think that disrespect from this place is necessarily an issue. I think it's more a case of, in my case, definitely lack of knowledge and lack of understanding and making mistakes. But the atmosphere that, well, I can speak from personal experience, so I will. The atmosphere that I've felt is that we need to struggle to be provided with information and questions, answers to questions that we ask, even if the questions are naive. We need to be given that leeway, and it's not disrespect, it's probably lack of understanding, and we're willing to learn, that's for sure. But the fact that it comes back to us is a very clear lack of respect. Seems to me to be a little bit one-sided, and I understand the point of it being a two-way street, but statements like this, which indicate that the General Manager is less pleased with some of the councillors than he is with others, might speak to the fact that the General Manager, I wish I was speaking in the presence of the person who edited this and who wrote it, but the General Manager, I'll leave it at that, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Braney. Further comment? Your hand's not up, is it?
No.
No. Sorry, just checking. Okay, so I will put the motion.
Just before, actually, sorry,
Councillor
Gabby, if I
Simon?
can go through Mayor Wisby.
Mayor
Mayor
Wisby.
Wisby. I take on board what Keith says, that all sounds fine, but just as a point, I'd like to just acknowledge the staff for the amount of work they've put in to the report and the work they do to get this out to us. I mean, it's a first-class document, and I know a lot of people in Bicheno look to this. It's a good snapshot of how we're going as a municipality, so I'd just like to acknowledge the 51-odd hard-working staff that we've got within the council.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we'll all be unanimous on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all, Councillor Simons. I'll put the motion. Sorry. Oh, being received. Yeah. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Councillor Churchill, Braney, Wisby, Browning, Simons. Against. Councillor Arnold, Deputy Mayor Woods. Carried. Okay, on to number 5, discussions of submissions received relating to the annual report 2018.
Nothing received.
So I received an update. One submission was received from Ms Lynn Taylor taken on notice as it was received after close date. So we will take that on notice and deal with that at the January council meeting. It was after the formal close date, so we will still deal with it.
Okay.
Even just not here right now.
Yep.
Anything dealt with here right now, it goes to the January meeting anyway, so we'll
That's
still
fine.
deal with
That's
it.
good.
Yes.
Yep. No problem.
Okay. Call for motions from the floor and discussions. Mr Sullivan.
I'm deputising for Anne Hill. She asked me to put this motion to the meeting. A motion that
That didn't work.
Sorry.
That didn't work well, Councillor Simon. They're not portable.
Inauspicious start.
The motion is that a report be submitted to the council at the 22nd of January 2019 meeting from the General Manager outlining exactly how the $50,000 specific grant from the Department of Premier and Cabinet for the problem of seaweed in Swansea is to be used in solving the seaweed problem.
Thank you, Mr Sullivan. Would you mind giving that to Ms Turvey? I'm sure she didn't keep up with that. Less than 500 words a minute. You
She did all right.
did pretty good. What's the rules here?
You don't have a seconder for the motion, and therefore the
That's what
motion.
I'm asking.
No.
The only people that can second the motion is an elector of the area, and
Who
and
here
then
in the gallery?
and then they vote on it. And given that Mr Sullivan is the only person here,
And Ms Turvey, sorry, Mrs Lona Turvey is here.
yeah, so.
No. So a report be submitted to the council from the General Manager outlining exactly how the $50,000 specific grant from DPAC for the problem of seaweed in Swansea is to be used in solving the seaweed problem. So, there is no, Mrs Turvey, you don't wish to, okay, thank you. So there is nobody to second that motion, which is fine. So the motion does something. There's a word. It lapses.
Lapses for
It
want of a
doesn't
seconder.
fall over. But that question, Mr Sullivan, can be answered, next week. You know what I mean? So we can sort that answer out for you anyway. Sorry. So now I need to go back. So we can now close the meeting. So I declare the meeting closed at 7:22. Thank you for attending.
Good question, Adrian.
Yeah, good question. I'd like to know the answer. We will ask the question and we will get the answer.
Well, I'd like the answer because somebody in Swansea is going to ask me.
Oh, I was already asked at the chamber meeting.
Yeah,
Did you
okay.
flick off? Did you flick? Sure. Yeah, the chamber have already asked that question.
Have.
Yeah.